Hey there, beautiful souls. Ever feel like fear is that relentless giant standing between you and your dreams? What if we told you there's a way to conquer it and let the boundless power of faith take over? Stick around, because today we're diving into a transformative journey. God is bigger than your problems. Welcome back, cherished souls, to the Word of Life, the place where we explore the profound wisdom and timeless truths that illuminate our journey. Today, we're delving into a topic that resonates with us all, the very essence of our human experience, fear. Have you ever felt the weight of it, that invisible force trying to hold you back, even in the moments you should be free? In this transformative episode, we'll navigate the waters of faith, anchored by the words of Psalm 34, verse 4. It's a journey into the core of our fears, a voyage towards redemption, and an exploration of the unwavering pursuit of love that transcends all fears. So, my friends, fasten your seatbelts, because we're about to embark on a spiritual odyssey. God is bigger than your problems. Whether you've battled fear in the dead of night or felt its grip tighten in broad daylight, you're not alone. This is a space where we unpack the complexities of fear and discover the profound liberation that comes when we seek the divine. So settle in, open your hearts, and let's unravel the mysteries together. Fear, my friends, is the colossal giant that often looms over our lives, a Goliath that seems insurmountable. Picture this vivid scene: the Israelites standing on the edge of the Red Sea, the waves crashing before them, and the deafening thunder of the approaching Egyptian army echoing in their ears. Fear gripped their hearts, and they believed they were trapped, caught between the unforgiving sea and the relentless pursuit of their enemies. Now, let's delve into the pages of the Bible, into the book of Exodus, chapter 14, where the Israelites faced this very predicament. In verse 13 to 14, Moses comforts the people, saying, "Fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent." Imagine the tension in the air as the sea seemed an impassable barrier. Fear had taken hold, yet in that very moment, God worked a miraculous way where there seemed to be none. Exodus 14, verse 21 and 22 records, "Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided." In this powerful demonstration of divine intervention, the sea parted, creating a path of escape for the Israelites. The very waters that appeared as an obstacle transformed into a passage of deliverance. God made a way through the seemingly impossible, delivering his people from the clutches of their fears. And just like David, a shepherd turned warrior who poured out his heart in Psalm 34, verse 4, we too can seek the Lord, finding solace in his embrace. Picture the scene, David, a young shepherd facing the towering giant Goliath. Fear must have coursed through his veins as he stood before this formidable adversary. Yet, in the face of overwhelming odds, his trust in God was unshakable. And just like David, a shepherd turned warrior who poured out his heart in Psalm 34, verse 4, we too can seek the Lord, finding solace in his embrace. Picture the scene, David, a young shepherd facing the towering giant Goliath. Fear must have coursed through his veins as he stood before this formidable adversary. Yet, in the face of overwhelming odds, his trust in God was unshakable. In 1 Samuel 17, verse 45 to 47, we find David's unwavering declaration before Goliath, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." Armored with nothing but a sling and a stone, David stepped onto the battlefield, proving that faith can conquer the most daunting problems. David's story is a testament to the power of trust in God. When the world saw an untrained shepherd, God saw a giant slayer. The victory wasn't in the size of the stone or the accuracy of the sling. It was in David's unyielding faith in the Almighty. His triumph over Goliath wasn't just a physical victory. It was a victory of faith over fear. Psalm 34, verse 4 beautifully captures David's heart. "I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears." In the face of our own giants, whether they be doubt, uncertainty, or seemingly insurmountable challenges, we can echo David's cry. Seeking the Lord and trusting in his deliverance allows us to confront our fears with the assurance that just as God stood with David, he stands with us. God's relentless pursuit of us echoes through the pages of the Bible, and one poignant illustration of this relentless love is found in the parable of the prodigal son. Picture a young man filled with the heady allure of freedom who squandered his inheritance on reckless living. As he found himself in the depths of despair, a fear of judgment gripped his heart, keeping him from returning home. It's a feeling many of us can relate to, the weight of mistakes, the fear of facing consequences. In the parable Luke 15, verse 11 to 32, the prodigal son decides to return to his father, not expecting open arms, but possibly harsh reproach. However, his father, a symbol of God's boundless love, does the unexpected. When the father sees his son from a distance, he doesn't wait for an apology, a justification, or a sign of remorse. Instead, he runs to him. The father's embrace is not conditional, it's immediate and overflowing with love. And he arose and came to his father, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion and ran and embraced him and kissed him. Luke 15, verse 20. Daniel's story unveils a truth that transcends time. In the face of fear, his trust in God was unyielding, and as the sun dawned on that fateful day, the den was opened, revealing a miracle that defied all earthly logic. The lions, typically ferocious predators, were rendered powerless before the might of God. Their mouths were shut, and Daniel emerged unscathed, a living testament that when we face our fears with faith, God's power prevails. The Bible encapsulates this incredible episode in Daniel 6, verses 22 and 23. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight, nor have I ever done any wrong before you, your majesty. In this verse, we witness not just the physical protection of Daniel, but the divine declaration of innocence. God's intervention not only spared him from harm, but affirmed his righteousness. It's a powerful reminder that when we stand firm in faith, even the most ferocious challenges lose their bite in the presence of God. Consider the poignant image of the shepherd leaving the 99 sheep to find the one that went astray. In Matthew 18, verses 12 to 14, Jesus shares this powerful illustration, emphasizing the relentless pursuit of the divine. He says, "What do you think? If a man owns 100 sheep and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. In the same way, your Father in heaven is not willing that any of these little ones should perish." Even in our smallest steps toward God, the divine orchestrates miracles on our behalf. This pursuit is not a passive observation, but an active engagement in our lives. As we take those tentative steps, God's love surrounds us, paving the way for extraordinary interventions. So, envision yourself in the role of that one lost sheep. Imagine the shepherd's joy upon finding you, holding you close to his heart. In your smallest steps toward him, the divine orchestrates a symphony of miracles, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. Let go of whatever chains you, the doubts, the regrets, the burdens weighing on your soul, and allow God to take hold of your hand. Picture the shepherd guiding you through the valleys and mountains of life. In Psalm 23, verse 1 to 4, David beautifully captures this comforting image. "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." God, as our shepherd, not only pursues us, but also guides us through life's varied landscapes. The valleys, though daunting, become pathways of growth, and the mountains, though challenging, transform into vistas of victory. Your smallest steps are met with a divine embrace, a hand that leads you in the direction of purpose and fulfillment. Now, let's dive into the profound impact of the Holy Spirit, often referred to as the breath of God. Picture the scene in the book of Ezekiel, where the prophet finds himself in the midst of a valley filled with dry bones, a symbol of hopelessness and despair. Ezekiel 37 verses 1 to 14 recounts this incredible narrative. The Lord asks Ezekiel, "Can these bones live?" It's a question that echoes through the corridors of doubt and despair in our own lives. Ezekiel responds, "Sovereign Lord, you alone know." It's a recognition that in the face of our darkest moments, only God holds the power to bring life to the lifeless. In this valley of dry bones, God instructs Ezekiel to prophesy over them. As Ezekiel obeys, something extraordinary happens. God's breath, the Holy Spirit, sweeps across the bones and they come to life, forming a vast and mighty army. It's a powerful illustration of God's ability to breathe life into the seemingly dead areas of our lives. Imagine the hopelessness that must have shrouded the valley. Yet, God's breath brought about transformation, turning desolation into a thriving force. This story is a beacon of hope, reminding us that no situation is too bleak for the life-giving breath of the Holy Spirit. In times of life's beatings, when the storms of adversity threaten to drown us, it's crucial to anchor our trust in the Lord. Consider the incredible journey of Joseph, a man whose story paints a vivid portrait of resilience and divine purpose. Imagine Joseph, a dreamer with a coat of many colors, filled with hope for a promising future. However, his own brothers, driven by jealousy and resentment, betrayed him. They stripped him of his coat and sold him into slavery, plunging him into a pit of despair. In that moment, it seemed like Joseph's dreams were shattered, his goals trampled upon. Yet, in the intricate tapestry of God's plan, every twist and turn served a purpose. In the foreign land of Egypt, Joseph faced trials that could have broken him. Falsely accused and thrown into prison, he clung to his unwavering trust in the Almighty. Little did he know that each adversity was a stepping stone toward the fulfillment of God's greater purpose. Now, picture Joseph interpreting dreams in the prison, a skill that would eventually lead him to stand before Pharaoh. God's favor rested upon Joseph, and his rise to power was not merely about personal success. It was a part of a divine plan to save not only Egypt, but also his own family from famine. The pinnacle of Joseph's story reveals the depth of God's redemptive power. When famine struck, Joseph's brothers, the very ones who had betrayed him, came seeking food. In a moment of profound forgiveness, Joseph declared, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Genesis 50, verse 20. This story echoes the truth that God's plan for us is flawless, even in the face of betrayal and adversity. Proverbs 19 verse 21 affirms this, stating, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." When we trust in the Lord, embracing his purpose amid life's trials, we position ourselves to witness the unfolding of his perfect plan. So, in the midst of life's beatings, take a lesson from Joseph. Trust in the Lord's unwavering love and divine plan. For just as Joseph's goals were fulfilled beyond imagination, your goals too will find their realization in the arms of a sovereign and loving God. So fear not, dear friends, for God is indeed bigger than any problem you may face. Picture this scene. The disciples, seasoned fishermen, find themselves in the midst of a raging storm on the Sea of Galilee. Their sturdy boat, once a symbol of security, now tossed by powerful waves, fear gripping their hearts with each swell. It's a scenario we can all relate to, those moments when life's tempests threaten to overwhelm us. Yet, just as the disciples' faith was tested in that storm, so too can we find solace in the timeless wisdom of the Scriptures. In that harrowing moment, as the disciples battled the elements, Jesus, the calming force amidst chaos, spoke these words, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." Matthew 14, verse 27. Imagine the power in those words echoing over the tumultuous sea. It wasn't just an assurance, it was a declaration of authority over the very forces that sought to bring fear. The winds, once fierce, ceased at his command, and the once turbulent sea transformed into a serene calm. It's a powerful metaphor for our own lives. In the midst of life's storms, Jesus stands ready to speak peace into our turmoil. He is the anchor that holds firm when everything else seems to be slipping away. Trust in the Lord to lift you up, just as Jesus reached out his hand to Peter when he walked on water towards him. When Peter began to sink, overwhelmed by fear, Jesus immediately caught him, demonstrating that even when our faith wavers, God's grasp on us remains unwavering. So when the storms of life threaten to capsize your boat, remember the calming voice that resonates through the ages, saying, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." Trust in the Lord's ability to calm the storm within you and around you. He is bigger than any tempest life may throw your way. In the words of Psalm 107 verse 29, He stilled the storm to a whisper, the waves of the sea were hushed. Let this verse be a lighthouse guiding you through the darkness of uncertainty, reminding you that God's power is mightier than the fiercest storm. So, my friends, fear not, for God is bigger than any problem you may face. Embrace the stories of faith and triumph in the pages of the Bible, for they are not just tales of the past, but living testimonies of a God who is present in our lives today. Stand firm, seek the Lord, and let His unwavering love guide you through the storms. May your faith be your anchor, and may you find solace in the words of Psalm 46 verse 10, "Be still and know that I am God." And there you have it, friends. If you found inspiration in these stories and the reminder that God is bigger than your problems, we encourage you to keep this conversation going. Click right here to explore more biblical narratives that reveal the immense power of faith in overcoming life's challenges. Until next time, keep the faith burning bright, and remember, your problems are no match for the limitless love of God. Thanks for being here, and catch you in the next one.